minor tweak in yours.
Okay,
It was,
that's fine.
yeah, it was more just a tense thing. But I think we're good. And I adjusted the spacing and some of the headings on a couple things, just so it's a consistent look throughout. I don't know if Jeff and Dan are going to make it today or not. I haven't heard that they're not, but I don't know that they are. So the goal right now, Josh and I are working on the benchmarking piece. I haven't heard from Ed. Don't know what's going on there. But beyond that, we should probably be able to finish that up, I think, before the 31st. Because I think we can actually use the 3 communities we have. We probably just have to adjust the wording some, and if not, we'll add 1 or 2 in that do meet the criteria of what we're looking for. You will see when you look at the draft that I altered the order of the sections from what they were in the preliminary report, because I want to play up the ideal model and the finance part nearer to the front, because I know that's going to be the meat of what they're concerned about, especially as we're heading into the city budget season, which is why it's really important that we get this in on time. Especially now, Jess, I'm not sure if I'm sure that you've heard of the news by now, but for those that have not heard, Rachel McEnany has accepted a position that will take her away from our fair city, which will create a huge vacancy, because she's exceptionally good at what she does. But of course, I wish her well. She's going to Benton County, I think, to be the county administrator in Oregon.
Yep.
So I don't think she's left yet. I'm not sure when she is leaving, but she had it up on Twitter yesterday, I think it was. So, and I'm sure you're all sort of like scrambling a bit to get things finished up. So I think the sooner that we can get a complete report in, the better off a lot of people are going to feel about the next steps that they need to take to move ahead with it. Oh, there's Jeff now. Good timing. Jeff, welcome.
Hey, Craig. Hey, everyone.
Good. I was just telling folks that I sent Jess a compiled report of what we have so far to share to the Google Share Drive. The introduction is set. The benchmarking section is about half done, and the conclusion will follow once that's done. I did have to make some edits to a couple sections, but nothing major. There were a couple substantive things I had to clarify in the ideal model section, just because it wasn't entirely reflective of where we were going with what the public-private partnership was supposed to look at. But I'll say, but that's on me, because I don't think that I clarified it as well for Diana and Brian as perhaps I should have. So I fixed up that part of it. Beyond that, Jeff, you may not have heard, one of the big concerns with getting this in on time is that Rachel McEnany is leaving the city. She got the county administrator's job out in Oregon. So I think the sooner that we can get this to them while she's still here and working on the city budget, the better off a lot of people are going to breathe. So I really appreciate all the efforts that you've all made for us to stick with the July 31st deadline. I do think we're really close, but I'd say take a look at the draft that's out there on the shared drive once Jess gets that up. And if there are any edits, questions, concerns, let's say just email and say, listen, I added a comment, I added a question, because right now the next 3, 4, 5 days are going to be critical for communication if there are any edits.
I just uploaded it, so you guys should be able to see it now.
Perfect. Thank you. The other thing I'd say is technically we have to meet as a commission to approve the final report. The last day that we could really do that is Monday, the 31st. I'm just not sure what people's availability is like to meet on the 31st.
I should be available that day.
Good. All right. Jeff, what about you?
I think I should be good, Craig.
Okay.
My only question would be if we need to have folks vote through proxy or what have you. What will we need to
That's
do?
where things get dicey. We need enough to have quorum. So, and technically, because people haven't actually resigned from the commission, they just haven't been here, their votes count towards quorum. So I will reach out to them one last time and say, listen, I realize you haven't gotten in touch with us, but technically you are still a serving member of the commission. If you could manage to show up for at least this one meeting, that would be great. But even if they don't, I think as long as we have, you, Josh, myself, Martin, and Diana, it'd be great to have Brian because that would be our one above the top. But I think we'd have enough for a quorum at that point.
Is that in the legislation that you guys have to vote on it?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Well, I think it was, and that's part of Robert's Rules of Order, which we are governed by. Is that we have one? Well, that's for a quorum. We have to, if we're putting something up there that says this reflects the group, really the commission should vote on it and say yes, we all agree. This is it. I think it just gives the final bit of added weight. We did do that with the preliminary report. I think we should be consistent with the final report.
Could we, Craig, what do you think if we ask Luke and Jess to just check on a contingency?
Yeah, I can reach out to our corp counsel and see
what they say.
See what they say.
If people can vote by proxy, that would be perfect. But really, we just need to be, because I really want to do this right, So yeah, Jess, if you could check on that for me, I'd really appreciate that a lot.
Sure.
All right.
Or get resignations from people that cannot come or have not been coming.
We've asked that question in the past. They just don't respond to the emails at all.
Ooh, okay.
And at this point, I feel sort of funny saying, well, now we're at the end. Hey, have the courtesy to sign off now. You know what? They did contribute at different steps along the way. So in fairness and in credit for the time they were able to put in, really we're talking about, and I'm not going to name names because we're on video and that's more of an executive session thing. There are 1, 2, 3 people that I can think of that applies to. And all 3 of them have either made contributions along the way or have valid reasons for why they haven't been able to attend as much as they'd like to. So let's see what we can do with the people that have stayed right here to the bitter end. I'd say the not so bitter end, really. And we'll go ahead from there. All right. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Are there any questions, concerns?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
For the benchmarking part,
Yeah.
would you like me to work directly in the final document, or do you want me to work in a separate Word doc and then send it for to approve and then paste that
If you
in?
could send it to me as part of a final Word doc, because my concern with the Google Doc is that sometimes when we take it back out of Google, it screws up the spacing. So ideally what we're going to do is I'll incorporate the edits from the Google Doc, but Jess, I'll probably send you a final Word doc version. Just so, because I know that Diana had some concerns because there were some graphics that she wanted to add in, but if she added them in and it went into the Google Doc, then it would get all screwed up. So really we need to have, what I'll do is actually 2 rounds. When we have the finalized of the benchmarking section and the conclusion, and then we have the in a Word doc from Diana, the graphics added in that she wants. I'll share the complete Word doc with the entire group, and we can see where we're working from with that. That will hopefully be before the weekend. That's my goal, but I'm not sure. It depends on how many edits we have when you will go out and look at what's out there now. If you have no edits, you say, gee, it looks great. I'm absolutely pleased with what's there, and I wouldn't change a word, a comma, or a period. Please let us all know that by email as well, because that'll just save time and trouble. All right. I think that's all I've got. Martin, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
No, not really. I think I just want to check the version that you have uploaded into the shared drive.
Sure.
Well, Google Docs.
Yeah. The main things I had to change were some things like line spacing, because some of the sections were single spaced, some were double spaced, and then I had to adjust the font sizes and styles for a couple things. But for the most part, we were good, so it didn't take long. But yeah, I'd say each, especially with your own sections, take a look at what's there, and then look at the whole thing to see if you agree with what's being said and how. I was a little concerned with the consistency of the language between the sections, but I think I was able to smooth that out a bit. But I'm definitely open to any and all ideas. Because Lord knows that I am not the final word on grammar. So, all right, guys. If there's nothing further, we can wrap this up. Good. Okay. All right. We'll be in touch. Let's plan on a meeting same time, same station on Monday. Unless something comes up that'll interfere with us getting to quorum, or if we don't need quorum, because just you're going to check on that.
Yeah, do you want me to check to make sure? Do you guys want to meet even if we don't have to vote, or?
If we don't have to vote, we can do it by email.
Okay.
But let's if we need to meet, then we'll meet. That's the approach I'd take with it.
Okay, sounds good. I'll check on that.
All righty, thank you. All right, guys. See ya.
Thanks, Craig. Thank you.
Have a great night.
Yeah. Bye-bye.